Hello everyone and welcome back to Baron's Den for another evening of Blood Bowl. Or day of Blood Bowl, morning of Blood Bowl. Wherever you are in the world and whenever you are, welcome to some more Blood Bowl. In the Bonehead Podcast League with me, Baron, coaching the Mordheim Undertakers, my Necromantic Horror team, and I'm up against Puppaz and his Hanover Hangovers, his Norse team. And yeah, this could be, I can't remember when this game actually went, whether what the state of play was, but I was going into this game thinking I need to make sure I don't lose to give other people the opportunity to slip in and grab one of those elusive top four spots, because in the league the top four spots are going to go into a playoff to decide the winners of the first season of the Bonehead Podcast League. And obviously I'm currently in I'm currently in that spot. And yeah, I want to stay in that spot, so I can't lose, but I'd like to win. Okay, so the Hanover Hangovers won the toss, so it was my turn to set up. No, sorry, he chose to kick, so he was setting up first. So there we go. Let's have a look at the setup. So he's gone with three linemen, including his loner player. He's what they're called, journeyman. He's left a gap between them, so he hasn't bunched them together. He's spread them a little bit. He's got another lineman here who's protecting the Yeti. And then he's got some Ulfs out wide using their strength. But depending on what happens to this player, there could still be potentially some access to the Valkyries, who are hidden here, ready to strike out when they're needed. Should also point out, I've had the pleasure of playing Puppaz in tabletop at a tournament. Yeah, good coach, good guy. So I was really looking forward to this game. And obviously, Necromantic versus Norse. It's my two favourite teams playing each other. Right, so how did I set up in return? I knew I was receiving the ball. I wanted to go pretty heavy on the line. I could put my Flesh Golem where he was because he's got stand firm. There's no Juggernaut. I managed to do high kick and the ball went straight to my ghoul, which was useful. My werewolf utilised his frenzy to go straight in on the line and break Norse armour straight away, but it was a stun, and a stun only. Then my Wraith has a go at the other raid lineman and murders him. Murderises the player on the first turn, but he appos him and he's fine. Gutted. So yeah, well done for, who was that again? The Dread Widow claiming a murder death kill. Which is great. So Flesh Golem moves forward. So does this Flesh Golem, because I'm eyeing up an opportunity. Because this guy hasn't got block. I thought, could I potentially break armour with claws? The other Wraith manages to push the lineman back. I bring this zombie round just to make sure they can't break through into my backfield. And then I take a risky blitz. A little bit risky because the first one's going to be a 2-die. But obviously, if I didn't take him down the first time, the second one could have been a 1-die. Oh, no, he couldn't. Sorry, that was my play, wasn't it? So it was safe. And also, I managed to break armour, but I didn't get that all-important removal. So pretty good turn for me. I managed to get the ball forward. I was quite pleased that we've got 2 stuns and somebody off the pitch until the next drive. So the Norse step up. One Valkyrie comes back, ready to pounce. Should I try and break through? Another Valkyrie wants to get stuck in with the werewolf and the Flesh Golem. And here comes the big guy. Potential chain pushes here, and would you believe it? It was a double skull. And then he re-rolls it, gets the loner, but then goes into a both down. So bad luck for him there. And the Yetis once again showing their their love for giving people reason to hate them. I love Yetis, I will add. So again, use that opportunity to block with my werewolf, but rather disappointing rolls means that lineman is spared, but this lineman's going to get a big pow, and down he goes, meaning my other Wraith gets 2-die and he also gets a pow, so this fella's going down as well. Flesh Golem breaks through now and decides to mark the Ulf, and I switch the play. I decide I've got enough players around here that I can create a bit of a screen. The werewolf goes in on the lineman, and it's going to be another armor break. But it's another stun, unfortunately. I then think, well, I've got a blitz left over, so I'm going to just push this lineman into more trouble. And then I'm going to carry on my little run into a spot that's going to help protect him. I managed to get quite a lucky pow on the Valk, but then couldn't break the armour. I say lucky because it's blodge, so I need the pow. Now, I did leave a potential spot open for them to attack the ball, but it was going to take a lot of rushes. And with block and dodge, I thought the ghoul was fairly safe. I've just got to watch out for strip ball. He went for the 1-die, which I wasn't sure if he would, and I decided that I was going to try and fish for the turnover by not standing firm in the hope that the 2-die would be his undoing. It didn't work out like that, and then I gave an easier route for the blitzer. But a failure of the rush, and then a skull, ate all the rerolls. So I did lose the ball, but I managed to cost the Norse all their rerolls. But unfortunately, the Valk broke my armour. And then dodges away to mark the ball. So at this point, the momentum is swinging now back towards the Norse. They've managed to sack the ball from me and get a player marking it. So that wasn't great for me, but at least it managed to eat all his rerolls. Once again, the Flesh Golem takes down the Blodge Valk, but no damage done. Flesh Golem manages to kick the Wolf's head in. Down he goes. Still no casualty though. I decide to blitz with the Ghoul because he's got wrestle and I needed a down, and then I hit a pow anyway. But no break. So we did really well breaking armor early on, but now it's stopped. And then I go onto the ball and decide it is worth the reroll to try and pick it up. So my wrestle Ghoul. So going in at the end of the half, 1-0. Sorry, I just had a problem with the sound. I'm hoping that wasn't out for long, otherwise I've been talking for a long time with no sound on. Okay, so it's our turn to receive a beating on the line as it's their kick. Well, our kick to them. And the linemen using their block to their skills to good advantage. I decided not to stand firm because I thought I want to pull the Yeti out of position. But I had to withstand a claws attack on my flesh golem, which concerned me a little bit. Valkyrie goes in, gets the ball first time, and moves down into position. And my werewolf is ominously surrounded. Other players move into a screening position to keep that ball safe. We've got the pig on the field now because of the injury they received earlier. And then the Ulfwerner comes in for the blitz. And they have to use... Well, they don't have to. They decide to use a reroll. I suppose because potentially I might have been able to get round the back here. So... Nothing too costly there. I thought if we pick up some players here, I might be able to get a hit on the Yeti. I decided to take the opportunity to hit the pig because it should be a fairly easy hit for a wraith. But we don't seem to do any damage. But I thought it's okay because it means I can bolt this wraith onto the corner of this sort of cage, which means it's a bit more tricky to block the wraith now because he could sidestep his way into contact with the ball. And then the ghoul comes steaming in and KOs the Ulf. That was a big hit, that was. That's the great thing about ghouls when you get block on them. They make pretty good blitzers as well. The werewolf, however, is just pushing people around at this stage. But he does, on his second hit, manage to power the lineman, and he goes down. I then decide to go for a 1-die, and I roll skull into skull, which I was gutted about. Killed a reroll, and I didn't achieve anything for it. So I had to be wary on this side because the Yeti could potentially do some damage here, but they've just failed with a foul appearance on the Wraith. The Ulf pushes into the flesh golem. And he stands firm the first time, but the second time I allow him to get pushed away from the Yeti. Because I thought that will then eat a blitz. The Yeti comes in and eviscerates the zombie. And he's off the pitch for a bit. So I've very much committed to this right-hand side, so I am wary that if the ball goes this way, I've got to make sure that I can get my players back across. And so the Valk comes through the middle, as does another lineman, to mark up the werewolf. And in comes the other Valkyrie into a sort of cage, which the beer ball completes. And we go for a 1-die, which just pushes the werewolf away. Apologies for all the coughs. Okay, so what was I going to do with this? Well, I decided to bring a wraith round here to start gumming up the centre line. I have to pick my flesh golem up, but there's not a lot I can do. I get a 2-die with the ghoul, which will clear out a path for me here, allowing me to blitz the ball carrier. I think it's a 1-die. I've got wrestle, and I managed to hit a pow. So an important ball sack there. Don't want to follow that up into that murder zone. I want to see where it bounces. Bounce into there. I thought that's not too bad. I think it's more important to mark the Valkyrie though, because if I messed up that pickup, then that could have gone to a player that I wanted. I then had I didn't see that then if that was a 2-die into a 1-die, but got the player on the floor. I re-rolled to get this player down because I thought it was important. I managed to push the Yeti away. And this ball was still lying idle here. And I was thinking, what have I got to do? Who have I got left? And unfortunately, I didn't have anyone. So I just had to hope that they would find it hard to pick up with all my players around. Now, pick me up for the beer ball. Managed to get 2 players up then. Yeti comes round. And who's that? The Ulfwerner takes out the werewolf. But once again, foul appearance saves the wraith from a hit. I decide to fend, so that zombie's free to do what he wants next turn. The beer ball comes in, allowing the Valkyrie to blitz the ghoul. Now, because it's a wrestle one, he couldn't take the both down, which means it was always going to be a trickier pickup now, 4+, which he doesn't get. But then, at least for him, it bounces into the hands of his other Valkyrie. So, at least they didn't. At least it caused a turnover, and they couldn't proceed anymore. But I've got to try and sack the ball again now. So, Wraith takes down another lineman. The ghoul pushes the blodger out of the way, and now I'm looking like I can get a 2-die with my ghoul, who unfortunately doesn't have dodge. But I thought I've got plenty of players here, and we'll be able to push this into another opportunity to block. But it's another push. But that's fine. I had another plan that would give me an opportunity, and that was use the werewolf to chain push the Wraith onto the ball so I can have another go at this blodger, and I still can't take him down. But at least I've got all these players now on that Valkyrie. And then I put the Flesh Golem next to the Yeti to stop him from steaming in and doing his thing. My werewolf gets stunned. The other werewolf is going to get pushed back, trying to open up a path for this Valkyrie to get out. I decide I have to wrestle that blodger to the floor. The Flesh Golem, unfortunately, is going to get clawed, but luckily it's just a stun. Werewolf pushed further away. But even so, there's still not an easy dodge here. A 1-die, very successful on the zombie. And it's a death. Murdered my zombie. And it's a failed regeneration. The only thing that made up for the another failed regeneration was the fact that the Valkyrie tried to do a dodge into a tackle zone, failed the dodge and the dodge reroll, and then the ball bounces around my place for a bit before settling there. And I'm thinking, that's not a bad spot for this ghoul to pick up and leg it. He's got sure hands as well. So I just need to make life a little bit easier for him by moving some of these players out of the way. I decide to blitz the beer boar to almost guarantee of me taking him down. If it had failed, I'd still got the Flesh Golem there. So now it was just a 3+ with a reroll to get the ball. Just in case it failed, I moved the Wraith back round. He does manage to pick it up, and so I think, let's just leg it. So down the wing he goes. I'm thinking if I can score this half, the game is done. Leave some players in place and bring a player around here to make a dodge away very difficult. A 1-die on the werewolf results in just a push. And the blitz comes from a lineman who decides to go for a 2-die up, which results in just a both down. The Ulfwerner comes round, ready to strike the following turn. However, obviously, if I score, it doesn't matter when I score, because going 2-0 up makes it very difficult for him. So I just need to get to my turn, which it does. My Wraith takes a hit. I decide with one reroll, I'm not necessarily in a rush to score, but I wanted to do it this turn if I could. I can't remember if I can make it without rushing. But before we do that, we get to have another werewolf block. And the Wraith blocks another lineman who hits the deck. Oh, he doesn't, sorry, he gets pushed. And then I decide to go in with the rush. Got my reroll. Because I knew making it 2-0 at this stage of the second half, that should be game, set and match, shouldn't it? Even if they score quickly, that then gives me the ball. I've still got plenty of players alive on the pitch. 2 of these players didn't come back from the knockout, and mine did. Although I've got a dead player. Who was the dead player again? Oh, that was his. My dead player is my kicker. How sad. We didn't have a kicker for long, did we? So cheering fans. Somebody got the pro skill, and who was it? I gave it to a Flesh Golem for the blocks. Because he hasn't got block. Because I'm really keen for them to level up, so I was hoping to get some profitable blocks in, so I can try and get them to block or to guard. So we start again on the front line. The Norse with their use of block and just their use of block really quite reliable on the line. But now I say that they didn't hit a single both down, did they? They straight in with the powers, and they got a knockout as well. So already a bit of player removal. Valk comes in for a pickup, fails the first roll but passes the second. Sure hands working there, lovely. And he decides not to do anything else. So, what do? I think, well, I've got player advantage now, so I'm going to try and man mark them up a little bit to make it hard for them to do anything that they want to do. Race now got a 2 die on the Ulf, and down he goes. So I'll push him over there to give these guys something. Basically, it means he's got to blitz his way out now, and so I was thinking by keeping him away from these, they can activate easier next turn, which allows the werewolf to do a 2 die on the journeyman. Just gum up that little gap in the side of the field. Flesh Golem steams in after taking down the raider lineman. I'll then move the Wraith in to mark this lineman, so there's not many easy blocks for them now. And the zombie goes for a push away on the Yeti. And that's it. That's a pretty good turn. There's not long to go. Only 2 turns each. So, well, as soon as that guy marked my ghoul, I thought, is he going to be the recipient of a block? And he was. In comes the Yeti. Luckily, dodge saves him the first time. And the second time. But it does put him on the sideline, which is always a bit dodgy. Then the Valk comes into a within 2 squares of the halfway line. Lineman takes down a 1 die on my Wraith, but the Wraith's okay. Right, turn 15. There isn't long left. I decide let's try and punch through the middle bit here. So down goes that lineman. Another stun. The zombie comes round to help make this a 2 die for the... it was the werewolf, sorry, hitting first. Gave myself the opportunity for 2 die blocks. And I murdered the player. Second murder for this team. And it was serious looping. And of course we resurrect their player as one of our own now. So we've just gained a player as well. What's his name? Lycros. There you see are both down, but I've got a re-roll to spare. I thought may as well use it at this point because I've got the opportunity to blitz the ball carrier if this goes well. I'm thinking if I get the zombie in there to mark that player up, I get a 1 die with wrestle again. And what do I roll? Another pow. What were the chances, eh? And then the ball bounces further on, so I think, well, I may as well dodge and see if I can pick it up. And I do manage to pick it up. And then I think, well, am I in the range of scoring? Do I need to go again? I then get a bit cocky, try and dodge out the ghoul from the Yeti, and unfortunately hit the deck. So 1 turn to go. I've actually got the ball, and I'm in danger of scoring. So strip pull on this Valkyrie means that even though my ghoul isn't hitting the deck, she has stripped the ball, and the ball still lands in my tackle zone. And then she comes round to mark that to make it difficult for me to get the ball next half. Picking up a few players. There's a 1 die here. Valk on a zombie. This lineman is free, so he dodges through to try and plug in this area, make it hard for me to gang up on this this Valkyrie. So I decided to blitz the lineman, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to get a good blitz on the Valkyrie, which meant I was reliant on a 4+ pickup. It's a 50-50 chance. Using my pro there. Not really to gain much though, just a push. And here I go. First of all, pick up on a 4+, then a 3+ dodge. And then a 2+. And I rolled a 5, 5 and a 6. And I got the 3rd touchdown to make it 3-0. If you think back to some of those ball sacks that have been very fortunate this game, a lot of 1 die blocks that hit the pow on a blodger. So I'm under no illusions, 3-0 flatters my team a lot. But I'm still pleased generally with how we played. And yeah, it was a great game from Puppaz, and he was just unfortunate that when he was 1-9, he was getting skulls. When I was 1-9, I was getting powers, and sometimes you can't account for that, can you? But yeah, so really pleased to end the season with a 3-0 win. So where does that put us in the league? First of all, dice rolls. I mean, yeah, we had slightly more. They had slightly more powers and skulls. They did have a few more ones, but it's nothing outrageous. And for me, fairly even on the D6s. Well, a little bit less of 5s and 6s than 1s and 2s. And again, we've actually had a little bit less of the powers as well, but I had them where they counted. Armor breaks were fairly even, which, given that they have weaker armor, I think was better for them. So, on the whole, it wasn't too bad. A lot of SPP. So the Wraith picked up 6 because of a casualty and an MVP. My wrestled guy managed to pick up 6 for 2 touchdowns. My other one got his touchdown, so he was able to pick up a skill, actually. Serious Lupin, my second werewolf, is now up to 6. And my Wraith got up 2 more SPP. I think to kick off her SPP, actually. So let's look at the team. Where are we? Oh, let's go back to here. There we are. So we were able to level up the Wraith to have tackle and my Ghoul to have sidestep. So it's now a blodge step. So the considerations were, I'm at the end of the league now. We know that the new update of the game is coming, so I thought, don't really have to worry about building any of these into the next season. I think I'll have to start again with a fresh team. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give skills to those who can get it. I don't want to random some of these yet because we've got some important games coming up. I would normally go guard on the Wraith, but I'm potentially playing Amazons again, Halflings, and a Norse team that has a blodging Valkyrie. So tackle was going to be more important for me than guard. And I thought sidestep on the Ghoul means that it just saves him from potentially being surfed easy and allows him to skip behind enemy lines through being pushed should the circumstance come up. So that's what we decided to do. So I'm pretty pleased with how the team's looking. I just wish I'd managed to get block on the golems, really, to make them a little bit more reliable. So let's check out the league. So this is how, I don't know if we completely finished. Let's have a look if we finished first. So there's still one game outstanding, which is between Rain and Borak, which is the dwarves and the... Is it lizards or is it Nurgle? I've forgotten. It's Nurgle. But this is how it's looking. So we've managed to win the division, or the league. I don't know why we're ahead of Stratford when we've got an identical record. I'm hoping it's not just because I've got a higher TV, because that doesn't seem very fair then on Stratford. It could be touchdowns, and if it's touchdowns, then we'll take it. So really, we've joint won this, me and Stratford. And then Spa H2O, unfortunately, had to have his game validated by the admins, and there was a glitch when we did validate it, which meant he got 2 wins instead of 1. So actually, unfortunately, he's not on 15, he's on 12. So third place is actually Dalio with his Ragnarockers, his Norse team, on 14 points. And then fourth place has gone to Sith and Snack on Arrival, with his Halfling team. But look how many people are on 13. 1, 2, 3, 4 players on 13. And it's Snack on Arrival who've qualified. And look, actually their TV is much lower. So it must be on touchdown scored. And they've just squeaked in. But look how many people are on 13. And then Spa, H2O and Lawson were on 12. So really, really close. And Gerger not far back on 11. So it was really tight for that fourth spot. And even third and fourth in the end. So really good league. Really enjoyed it. And now we go through to the playoffs. And until we have... I don't think Rain or Borak can jump into the... They won't be far off, though. Borak would be 12 points with a win. So he could jump up to about here. And Rain up to 10 points around here. So we know that the top 4 are going to be Necro, Amazon, Human... No, sorry. Necro, Amazon, Norse and Halfling. I don't know if it's going to be first versus fourth and second versus third, but obviously I played all three of those teams. Two of them I drew. I drew against Stratford and Dallio, Amazons and Norse. I did beat the Halflings, but if you remember that game, they really struggled with dice rolls, as in the dice was unkind. So all of these are going to present a challenge. And look how low the TV is there. So they're going to have 515 in TV against me, which is pretty frightening. How many players have they got? So they're missing 1, 2, 3. So 13 players and that amount to spend is quite terrifying. Obviously 100k will go on the Halfling MasterChef, and they could afford Morg if they wanted, and any number of good star players. So that's a concern. I'd rather, in a way, not play the Halflings, because they just offer such a roll of the dice, as it were. And then you've got the Norse, who've got a similar TV to me. They're looking pretty tasty because they've got one Berserker with Guard, one Berserker with Mighty Blow. They've got a Yeti now. I can't remember if they had one when we played them. They've got a couple of tackle players to deal with those Amazons, no doubt. One with Juggernaut, so I'm going to have to bear that in mind with my sidestepping ghoul. And that's it for level ups there. But again, 14 players, 2 rerolls, and an Apo, so it's a good looking team. And then we've got Stratford's Amazons, where I think he's got a lot of randoms on the lineman, because he's got a Sure Hands lineman, a Strip Ball lineman, a Pro lineman, a Dirty Player lineman, and a Shadowing lineman. So aside from the Shadowing lineman, you're pretty happy with those randoms. All of them are giving you something. He's got 2... So he's got a block kick for 70k. That's a good random roll, and that's just what you want. And then he's put block on one blitzer, wrestle on the other. Oh, no, they're not all blitzers. So what have I done there? That's my team. Sorry. So it's the thrower, that got block, and then wrestle and block on the 2 blitzers, and then a Jaguar Warrior blocker. And they're about 100k cheaper than me. But they're one of their linemen, this pro lineman down here, he's out, which means they only have 12 players. So 3 rerolls and Apo. So they're a little bit brittle. If the armour goes against them, they could struggle a little bit, but they are very TV efficient there. That's a good looking team for that amount of TV. So all of those games are going to present a challenge, and I look forward to playing any of them, to be honest. Like I said, Halflings are the ones that worry me the most, because you're just so unpredictable. It really depends on which star players are picked and which inducements are picked. But yeah, whatever it is, it's going to be fun. So really pleased to have done well in the league part. I have a bad track record in knockout stages. I tend to do well in league stages and then terrible in knockout stages. So we'll have to see how we get on. But thank you very much for joining me on this journey of playing through the Bonehead Podcast League. And yeah, don't forget to tune in for the semi-final, which will hopefully be soon, where I don't know who I'll be playing yet, but it'll be one of those 3 teams. Don't forget to subscribe to make sure you catch when the next video goes up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye for now.